It's music theory. Online, let's learn some theory. Online, by watching modules. Online, with music theory. Online.
Hi, and here we are, ready to start Module 15. We've been talking about intervals. Remember, an interval is simply the distance between any two notes. Intervals have a size and they have a quality. We always base the intervals on a scale or in a particular key. And then we look at the top note and decide if that top note is part of that scale or part of that key. We have perfect intervals and we have major intervals. Our perfect intervals are on 1 or unison, 4, 5, and 8. Our major intervals fall on 2, 3, 6, and 7. Major intervals can never be perfect, and perfect intervals can never be major. Today we're going to learn about minor intervals. We can change major intervals to minor intervals. We can't change perfect intervals. Perfect intervals are going to remain perfect. To change a major interval to a minor interval, we're going to lower the top note by a chromatic semitone, often using an accidental. If you're identifying a minor interval, it's always best to write out the word minor. From the examples that you see on the screen, you see that the bottom note in all of these is a C. So that means that we're working in the key of C major. In the key of C major, C to D would be a major second, because D is part of C major scale. If we lower the D by a chromatic semitone to D flat, then we have a minor second from C to D flat. A major third above C would be E. C to E is a major third. If we lower the E by a chromatic semitone to E flat, then C to E flat would become a minor third. Remember, fourths and fifths remain perfect. So we're going to skip right over fourths and fifths and go directly to the sixth. C to A would be a major sixth. If we lower A by a chromatic semitone to A flat, then C to A flat would be a minor sixth. C to B would be a major seventh. C to B flat would be a minor seventh. And again, what we've done is lowered the B by a chromatic semitone. On this slide, you see the minor intervals in the key of C major. C to D flat, because remember it would be D natural would be a major third, D flat is a minor third. C to E flat, C to A flat, and C to B flat. These are all minor intervals. On these slides, we're looking at intervals on the keyboard. So you can see that the first keyboard is E to C sharp. In the key of E major, C would be sharp. So E to C sharp would be a major sixth. E to C would be a minor sixth. So here's an example of lowering C sharp by a chromatic semitone to C. What that means is all minor intervals don't necessarily have a flat. E to C would be a minor sixth. You really do have to take that bottom note and figure out what your sharps or flats would be in that key. And then from there, you can determine if it's a major or a minor interval. Our next example is E to F sharp. In the key of E major, F is supposed to be sharp, so E to F sharp would be a major second. E to F would be a minor second. So that's another example of the minor interval, the minor second, being from a white key to a white key. In the second keyboard, we have E to G sharp. And again, in the key of E major, you would have a G sharp. When you lower the G sharp to G natural, or just plain old G, then E to G would be a minor third. E to D sharp would be a major seventh, so E to D would be a minor seventh. When you're asked to write a minor interval above a given note, the first thing you're going to do is write the note that is the interval number first. So if it's a third or a fifth or whatever the interval is, write that note first. Then decide whether the note that you wrote is a major interval. If it's a major interval, then you're going to change it to a minor interval by lowering that top note by a chromatic semitone. The examples that I've put on this slide aren't just for minor intervals, but for all intervals, just so we can practice figuring them out. So the first one is a perfect fifth above F. So we count up 5 notes, and a fifth above F would be C. Remember, our key signature for F major is B flat. So F to C would be a perfect fifth. The next one is F to A. F to A would be a major third. So to make that a minor third, it would be F to A flat. And then the next one is the same note. It's F. So let's go to the last one. It's a minor sixth. So the first thing we're going to do is count up 6 notes. F, G, A, B, C, D. In the key of F major, D is a natural, so F to D would be a major third. So if we lower D by a chromatic semitone to D flat, then F to D flat would be a minor sixth. In this example, you're writing intervals, and they're melodic intervals. So you would also be beaming the 16th notes together. F is our first note, and we need a minor third. So F, G, A, F to A would be a major third, F to A flat would be a minor third. Then we have a minor sixth. F, G, A, B, C, D. F to D would be a major third, F to D flat would be a minor third. And again, these would be 16th notes that you would beam together. Perfect fourth above F, F, G, A, B flat. F to B flat would be a perfect fourth. A flat is in the next example. We need a minor third above A flat. So we'll count up 3 notes, A flat, B flat, C. A flat to C would be a major third. To make it a minor third, we would lower the top note by a chromatic semitone. So we'd change C to C flat, and then A flat to C flat would be a minor third. In the last example, a perfect fifth above A flat, and if we say the names of the notes of the key for A flat major would be A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat. So A flat to E flat would be a perfect fifth. This question asks us to rewrite these major intervals and change the top note to create a minor interval. Name each of the new intervals in the space provided. So the first example is C to A, and it's a harmonic interval. Now C to A would be a sixth, and in the key of C major, A should be on the white key. So C to A would be a major sixth. If we lower A to A flat, which would be a chromatic semitone lower, C to A flat would be a minor sixth. The next example, F to A, F to A would be a major third because in the key of F major, A is on the white key. So to make that into a minor third, you would change the A to A flat. So F to A flat would be a minor third. E flat to C is a major sixth. In order to change this to a minor sixth, you would change the C to C flat, and E flat to C flat would be a minor sixth. D flat to C is a major seventh. D flat to C flat would be a minor seventh. D to F sharp is a major third. In this case, you would write D and then you would write the natural sign in front of the F because that sharp would carry for the whole measure. So D to F natural would be a minor third. This brings up a really good point when you're writing these intervals. If you were writing the minor third D to F and there was no key signature or no F sharp in front of it, you wouldn't write the natural because the natural would imply that there was a sharp or a flat within that measure. If it's not there, you wouldn't write the natural, but in this case you would have to write the natural because there's a sharp in that measure. So just to sum up everything, remember that you always must decide the size of the interval by counting the number of notes, including the bottom and the top note, to arrive at the size. Always treat the bottom note as the tonic. You're in the key of that bottom note. If the top note is part of the scale, then it's major or it's perfect. If a major interval is lowered by a semitone, it's a minor. Always check to see if there's a key signature written, and if there is, how it affects the notes that you're looking at. Now you can practice writing major intervals, minor intervals, and perfect intervals, both harmonically and melodically, and keep working on making sure you know your key signatures really, really well. And that's all we have for today, so you have a super duper week, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
It's music theory. Online, let's learn some theory. Online, by watching modules. Online, with music theory. Online.